One of the great things about being young is that you shouldn't be trapped by the old ideas of the past. You can see the world in new ways. You're not trapped by this idea that, well, that's how we always did things. And I want young people to trust those instincts in their own power and their own ability to reimagine their societies, reimagine businesses, reimagine how politics can work. Usually the advice I give young people is that if you want to be a leader, the most important thing is to recognize that very few people accomplish great things by themselves. You know, even the people we think of as geniuses. You know, Picasso, yeah, he worked with Braque, and he worked with a whole bunch of different painters to develop his style. You know, great musicians, they learn from different collaborations. Great athletes, you know, unless you are just Serena Williams or, but I mean, look, you're from Argentina. Messi is amazing, but Argentina's had trouble winning the World Cup.
Don't remind me, please.
Even though you have the greatest player, because it's a team. And so what I always say to young people is that you have to think in terms of how do you learn to work with other people in ways that encourage them also to be powerful and also to succeed. As opposed to thinking, how do I step on somebody else to make myself bigger? How do I lift up people so that they're succeeding? Because if they succeed, then I'm going to succeed as well. The second advice I often give young people is focus more on what you want to do and not what you want to be. And what I mean by that is, when I was in Washington, I'd meet young people, they'd come and they'd say to me, "Oh, Mr. President, I want to be a president." And I'd say, "Why?" "Well, I don't know. But I think that that's true in politics, it's true in business. And what I say to young people is usually the people who are the most successful, it's because they're passionate about what they're doing. You know, I didn't go into politics because I said I want to be president. I went to politics because I said I want children to have health care. And I want young people to be able to get a great education. And I was working on those things that led me into politics because it was a means for me to achieve those goals. Bill Gates didn't start off saying, "I want to be the richest man in the world." He said, "I really love computers." And he worked to try to create software that would revolutionize how we consume information. The byproduct was that he built this amazing company and became extraordinarily wealthy. So thinking in terms of what is it that you want to accomplish? What are you most interested in and passionate about, and investing your time and passion and energy into that, I think is most important. And then the last thing I say to young people is you better work hard. Because, the truth is that, and I tell this to my daughters, so this is the same advice I give to my girls. I said, I don't care what you love, what you care about. If you don't invest time, you will not be excellent at it. And if you're not excellent, then it doesn't matter what your intentions are, you are not going to, people will not follow somebody who is not working hard and doing their best. In the White House, I always used to say, I will never get mad at you for making a mistake, but I will get mad if I feel as if you're not doing your best. And I think that is and you lead by example. The leaders who you end up most admiring are the people who themselves make sacrifices. I remember traveling to South Africa for this first time and going to Robben Island. which is where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for 27 years. And you would hear stories, including from some of his colleagues who are still alive. They would tell me about what it was like being a prisoner with Mandela. And Mandela, the guards sometimes would say, Mandela, here, you can have this special meal. They'd say, well, no, I'm not going to have this meal if all the other prisoners are not getting this meal. Oh, Mandela, you don't have to break rocks in the hot sun all day. No, that's what my colleagues are doing. That's what I have to do too. And so it's not a speech that made Nelson Mandela great. It's people seeing somebody living out their convictions and making sacrifices. And that's what people watch. What do you do? Not just what you say.
Fantástico, Mr. President.